Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Tailgate Talk here at Sun Media Group. I'm Justin Pelletier, along with Mr. Randy Whitehouse and Mr. Cal Oakes.
Oh, yeah.
On our way up here, I was sitting there thinking, you know what? I had to turn the calendar page.
There's a lot of time to do that.
Yeah, actually. We are in Rumford, by the way, at Mountain Valley High School. And on the way up here, I was thinking I had to turn another calendar page. Temperature's getting a little bit colder. It's definitely playoff time for everybody now, especially here now at Mountain Valley. They're back in the playoffs again. A little bit different for them this year, though, because they are not the number 1 seed or the number 2 seed, and they're not necessarily the favorite this time around. Randy, what's the difference this year for this Mountain Valley squad, and what can they do to get through and play another week?
The difference is less talent and less fundamental soundness.
And a lot of the talent is banged up and has been
Injuries
since week
are
1. You know, injuries at any level of football, Mountain Valley has experienced it in spades this year.
As far as their matchup this week, they have York. Lost to them the first time around. Any hope that they can come out and turn the tables this time?
There is, just because York is also dealing with some injuries late in the season. The game they had up here two weeks ago took a physical toll on them, and their top running back Kruger was injured before the Wells game last week, so they were a little shorthanded for that. There's a chance. Obviously the playoff experience goes Mountain Valley's way every year. They're not used to going on the road. They're not used to going in with a 2-game losing streak, but they've been here before. A lot of these seniors know exactly how to handle this situation. And, it's one game. They got a shot.
Second time facing an opponent tends to work in the Falcons' favor usually. So
look at Cape 2 years ago, similar situation.
Fair enough. Well, that's what our experts have to say. Let's find out what they have to say. Coach and players from Mountain Valley.
Here with Matt Duca from Mountain Valley High School. The Falcons getting ready for York this weekend. Matt, talk about your season so far and defending the championship. Is it from last year? Has it been kind of tough with injuries and things of that nature?
Well, I mean, injuries have been like a big part of the team. Like throughout the year, we've had injuries, but trying to overcome that right now and anticipating the game against York and just trying to do the best we can.
How do you feel about the way you guys played last week? The scoreboard said Cape won big, but it looked like you guys played a lot harder and a lot tougher than you did the week before. Do you feel that way?
I mean, I think we played a lot harder. They obviously had a bunch of big plays, which really hurt us.
Yeah.
But overall, we played a lot harder, and we're ready for this game against York right now.
What's it been like for you this year? I know you played a big role on defense the last couple of years. You were kind of stepping in on offense for a couple of big guys, big names in the history of this program. I mean, what's that been like for you personally?
I mean, it's so hard to follow someone like Justin Sanders and Matt Wagowskis, but I mean, I'm doing the best I can, trying to start a new name for myself. So.
Mm-hmm. We're here with Cole Clark from Mountain Valley High School. Cole, talk about the season so far and your thoughts going into this weekend. It's a rematch with the team you saw a couple of weeks ago. How do you think this time can be different for you guys?
We tackle this time.
I
I think we'll do a little better.
Is that what it was in the first game? I mean, what else went wrong for you?
Oh yeah, we had him in the backfield.
Yeah.
Who knows how many times.
Yeah.
Just didn't wrap our arms.
And we thank the staff and players here at Mountain Valley High School for taking the time to come and talk with us. They're not, of course, the only playoff matchup this weekend. Unfortunately, we have a whole bunch of games left on the slate.
Unfortunately.
Well, for you football folks, I suppose. We have our next one we're going to talk a little bit about here is Leavitt-Hampton, a rematch of week 1, which I got to see. And I don't know that it's going to be as close as it was that first week, but it has that potential. Hampton did some things to Leavitt that first week that they haven't seen since. And I don't know. Do you think that poses any bit of an issue?
You mean things like scoring against their first team defense, which no team has done since? I mean, clearly Leavitt has gotten on a roll after that game. It's hard to gauge a week 1 matchup when you have a rematch in the playoffs. You don't know. Clearly Hampton matches up well with Leavitt. They had opportunities to win that game. But Leavitt's offense is on a roll like I've never seen, and on both sides of the ball up front with Matt Porter, Matt Feller, and Luke Wiley. Those guys, they're getting it done.
Yeah, Leavitt's. I talked to Coach Mike Hathaway last night, and he said his team's a little bit tired of hearing about that week 1 matchup just because it was so long ago. But there's buzz about Hampton being the most legitimate contender for the Hornets, and I think that's definitely a legitimate observation. Certainly with Hampton, the key is the Nolan Turner kid. They give him the ball in all kinds of ways to get him out in space, whether it's in the running game, in the passing game, or in the return game. That's the primary focus for the Hornets is to keep him inside the hash marks probably and keep them from finding.
Similar to last year in that Levitt is the #1 seed, draws the team that matches up best with them actually in the semifinals and not the finals, and Morse was able to knock them out last year. The difference is Levitt is on the kind of roll that Morse got on going into that game last year this time around, so we'll see how it ends. So it works out for the Hornets on Friday night.
Our other area game this week is Winthrop playing Dirigo. It's another rematch of a regular season matchup that, I don't know, does Dirigo have anything to worry about here, Randy?
Well, I mean, Winthrop's confidence is as high as it's ever been after winning the last 3, including Lisbon the last 2 in a row. Defense is playing as well as it has all season. The offense is coming together, and you know they only have 1 star back from last year. They still have a little bit of a playoff pedigree there. They have some speed. That's Dirigo's game. They have a lot of speed on their side. So. You know, I don't know how the track's supposed to be, but should be some teams flying up and down the field.
I covered the first round of that rivalry in week 3. Winthrop was 2-0 at the time. Dirigo was 2-0. And Dirigo, it was a close game for it was 8-8 with about 2 minutes to go in the first half, and then Dirigo goes on and runs away with it. And Winthrop had a couple of key injuries in that game. That's kind of been the trend for Dirigo this year. A little bit of a slow start against some of the middle of the pack teams in the conference. It was the same way with Maranacook last week, same way with Madison in the final week of the regular season. They really can't afford that against Winthrop. Dirigo, all things being equal, is the best team in Western C, but they've got to start a little more quickly. That'd be my warning to them.
One quick glance over at everything else going on, of course, in Class A. Messalonski's at Bangor. Messalonski gave Bangor a scare the last time they played in the Indian 12. Absolutely, and in the other matchup, you've got Lawrence, the perennial contender, and Brunswick, who is a 1-loss team. I mean, and they came close to losing Lewiston, but long and short of it is they beat Lewiston, and they've found ways to win games this year.
That's got to be the most physical game in the state. This with 2 teams that really like to hit. That's for sure. And it should be a pretty bloody battle out there.
Still north versus south. I got to give the edge to Lawrence there, certainly. And how about Western Maine? We got the Thornton Academy and a big game, Wyndham Bonnie Eagle. That's another one that I like this week. That's a game that should be. You got Bonnie Eagle, kind of like Mountain Valley with the championship tradition, kind of a down year for them. Wyndham, a team that's certainly having its best year ever, and that's a matchup I'm interested to see the results.
Oh, and boy, did Bonnie Eagle pull off a good comeback against Portland, too. They were down and they were out, and Portland gave them just that little bit of breathing room, and boy, they proved that champions don't necessarily die easy in the playoffs.
Bonnie Eagle's been in some of those games this year. The South Portland game that they lost in the final seconds comes to mind, so maybe they've learned some lessons along the way.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you out there this weekend for the playoffs.